Before the video starts, I want to say thank you guys for the support on part 1, as it is doing very well on the channel, and I really do appreciate all the support, and thank you to all the channel members as well. There will be a member video releasing very soon, within the next day or two. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Make sure to check out the Discord. We're trying to get to 1,000 members. I appreciate it. Let's get right on into the video. Our story last ended with Goku, the #1 hero, or what the association wanted to put him as, has just defeated the god-level threats, Raditz, and then a year later, Nappa and Vegeta. Vegeta was able to survive the onslaught with just an inch of his life. Goku spared him, showing him what mercy means, as Vegeta then flees into the outer reaches of space. Things are peaceful in the world for the time being, and since there was no discussion of the Dragon Balls, Frieza would never go to Planet Namek, so there would be no Namek Saga, and Planet Namek is safe for now. Now, what would happen on Vegeta's behalf, as the Earth is peaceful for now? Would Vegeta have his own turmoil and struggles? Oh, absolutely. Vegeta would probably be laughed at. A place such a low level such as Earth, and he was defeated by a low-class Saiyan? Now, word would get around. Vegeta would get a huge Zenkai buff, pushing his power level past 30,000, making him stronger than he was when he even fought Raccoon. This version of Vegeta, after he gets his Zenkai buff, Dodoria and Zarbon would most likely try poking fun at him. Now, there are two routes that we can go down for Vegeta. Now, one of them would be Vegeta keeps his mouth shut and he doesn't attack them, because he knows if he does, that would start a war with Frieza. Or Vegeta can then kill both of them and then start a whole war with Frieza. Now, knowing Vegeta's attitude like how he was on Namek, I definitely think it's the second route. So with Vegeta, most likely it'll be Dodoria first. Dodoria will probably poke fun at Vegeta, and Vegeta thinks it's time to start his revenge. Vegeta would then kill Dodoria, and then Zarbon, even while transformed, has no chance against this version of Vegeta, whose power is rising considerably. Vegeta would then defeat Zarbon, and then Frieza would definitely catch wind of this. So Frieza would most likely send the Ginyu Force after Vegeta, and he was on his way to personally handle the Saiyan. Now, Vegeta is no fool. He knows that the Ginyu Force is no joke. Especially, he can maybe handle Guldo, maybe one of the Jace, Raccoon, or Birder, but Ginyu is the biggest problem. His power level is absurd, so he knows that he's pushing a fight that he can't really win, so Vegeta would most likely flee back to Earth because he knows that Kakarot is a weapon that can be used. So once when he does arrive back on Earth, Goku and the others would then arrive, seeing Vegeta there. Vegeta would then explain his scenario, and Goku doesn't really have a choice. He says that Vegeta kind of makes up a little white lie. He explains that, listen Kakarot, Frieza already knew of my defeat here, and he was going to send his men anyway, and that would cause the Ginyu Force and then himself to arrive. So as a matter of fact, I brought him here early just on your behalf. Now, before they could even argue that, the Ginyu Force pods would land. Ginyu Force would then step out, as the Earthlings would then go battling Guldo and the others. Now, luckily though, Goku was there. So, we would have Raccoon, Jace, Birder, with then all three team Goku. All of them flying at Goku. Now, Vegeta would jump in with Goku to try and help him. He would most likely battle Raccoon. Vegeta would handle himself much better against Raccoon than the original on Namek, because his Zenkai is much larger, fighting a much more powerful character. He's able to really damage Raccoon, but Raccoon is still slightly superior to Vegeta. Now, once when it was Goku's turn, Goku kills Raccoon with a single punch, blasting a hole right through him. This would shock all the Ginyu Force members, as Guldo was then defeated by Yamcha, who would actually kick his head off, as Guldo was trying to freeze time, but he couldn't hold his breath very well. So now, we would then have the severe battle between Jace, Birder versus Goku, as Ginyu was watching. He was waiting mainly for Frieza to come, as Ginyu was waiting for Frieza, and Frieza was arriving very shortly. Now, by this point, Vegeta's pretty badly wounded with Raccoon. Goku would then flick a Senzu Bean to Vegeta, who would then eat it, and he would get a big Zenkai buff, and with this, he wants to fight Jace, as he has personal beef with him. And so, Goku would then fight Birder, who Birder's insane speed is impressive. Goku then does some serious sidesteps, showing how fast he was, and it kills Birder with a single punch and defeats him. Now, Vegeta was able, after a pretty close fight, he was able to beat Jace pretty well. Ginyu would then clap his hands, and he says that's very impressive, as he then taps his scouter to read Goku's power level. As Goku's power level was pretty much unreadable, Ginyu just could not get a right gauge on his power level, and he couldn't figure out what is wrong with his scouter. Something's not right. Because Goku's power is theoretically limitless, I like to make it so the scouters do act a bit funky when they're around Goku's strength, since he is constantly growing in power. Now, Ginyu is a very powerful fighter. He's a little bit weaker than Grade 8 Vegeta when Goku fought him, but he's in a smaller body, so he's a bit easier to fight. So when Ginyu does try to fight Goku, Goku has already grown far beyond what Ginyu was. And Ginyu, would he try his change now technique? Absolutely, but I think Goku would just hit an after image and dodge it, and Ginyu would then hit one of the frogs, and he would then revert. So he would miss. And since that was the case, Ginyu was defeated, hopping around. Frieza's ship would then land as more soldiers would then come out. We would then have more heroes from the association step out. Now, some of these heroes are high ranking. Some of them are espers, very powerful. Some of them are old martial artists alongside of Roshi and the others, and they would then all prepare. They would then all begin battling the Frieza soldiers, as Goku would then meet up with Frieza. Now, Goku can instantly tell Frieza has an enormous energy, at least nearly 5 times what that other guy was, but that's even scratching the surface of his power. He's never seen someone with this level of strength before. It's incredible. This actually gets Goku's blood pumping, because he's never met someone with so much potential and power. Now, Frieza was interested, as he heard of a Saiyan who was able to beat Vegeta and the Ginyu Force. That's impressive. Could he be worthy to join his empire? Now, of course, Goku would instantly decline this offer, and Frieza says that's a shame. And he'll explain why he's the emperor, as he will destroy everything on this planet. And so, Frieza would then begin his match with Goku, battling in his first form. The two would then clash as they go back and forth. Frieza's power is considerable in his first form. Do not let his small size deceive you, as he then throws a barrage of attacks, which Goku blocks with little to no effort. As Frieza then realizes that Goku's not even trying yet, and he says this is not enough, and he says good, because I have more transformations. He then goes to his second form, and in this large hulking form, he's slower, but his movements are just as fast, but just more powerful, and he's more aggressive. The two would then clash, going back and forth, flying through the air. As the other heroes very much defeated all the Frieza soldiers, they're watching in awe, as their number one hero is fighting this god-level threat. As the Hero Association knew that this is beyond anything that they've even seen before. This could even be higher than a god-level threat. It's just insane how strong this character is. As Frieza was so strong that Goku was going back and forth, but Goku doesn't really seem like he was trying yet. As then, he would then land on the ground, as Frieza would explain that he is very powerful, but he then rambles on. Goku then cuts him off, and he says, blah, 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 and he's like, Are you done with this? Because I'm getting kind of bored. And Frieza would just stare in shock. This inconsiderate monkey declares this upon him. Frieza's insulted. He's never had someone speak to him this way. Frieza then says, fine, I'll show you true power. He then transforms, skipping his third form, into his final form. With this, he flies in, delivering a powerful punch which would destroy everything around them, as he then delivers powerful combos, and then a powerful kick, launching Goku straight to the moon. Goku would then get up, and he would look around in space. Now, initially you should be terrified though, right? But Goku was fine. He held his breath, and he was perfectly fine in the vacuum of space. He would then lift up a rock, and then Goku would then fly right back within a couple of seconds, as he made it back no problem. As Frieza was impressed, he would then charge towards Goku, but Goku would then deliver his first real punch, hitting Frieza right in the stomach, which would make Frieza spit blood and launch backwards. But Goku was not done. As soon as Frieza said, "You are truly a worthy opponent," Goku then flies in with a full power barrage attack, hitting Frieza hundreds of times, and it damaged Frieza really badly, knocking Frieza down. Frieza would then get back up, as he says, "This is truly incredible," and he says, "You are worthy of seeing my full power." Frieza would then begin bulking up in size, and Goku says, "Frieza, take all the time you need. I want to face you at your best." And Frieza continuously grows stronger and stronger. As he bulks up in size, reaching his full potential, he then battles Goku. And it seems like initially he overpowers Goku, knocking him around, and he would then fire a full power attack, damaging his outfit and joining his top half of his shirt. As Goku would then step out of the rubble, but he had no real damage on him. Now Goku's heart was pumping a little bit, and he tells Frieza that he's going to get serious now and have some fun. Goku would then do a serious headbutt to Frieza, which would nearly break his head, and Frieza was then launched backwards. Now Frieza would then launch everything that he has, powerful supernovas and attacks, but Goku would just defeat them, little to no effort. And so Frieza would then smirk at this saying that your power is extraordinary. And he says, but compared to me, there are beings out there in the universe that make me look like I'm a fly. Gods in your eyes. And we all knew who he's referring to. As Frieza would then try one last ditch effort, he would try to blow up the planet, as he knows he can survive. But before he could do this, as Frieza would then launch his final attack, he would aim right towards the Earth. Everybody was worried. Goku would then appear right below the attack, and he would deliver a powerful Kamehameha, which would not only wipe out the blast, but also hit Frieza full power. This blast would then launch Frieza into the outer stratosphere, and pretty much wipe out the Emperor entirely, leaving no trace of him left. Now, since Frieza was defeated, would King Cold ever arrive? Well, no, he would not. The reason why he wouldn't is because in the original story, King Cold had no reason to go to Earth. He even told Frieza that. He says, why bother? He says, work is in your empire. It was actually Frieza who actually told his father that they demanded that they go to Earth to have a rematch. So King Cold would never go. Of course, was he embarrassed that his son lost? Yeah, but King Cold's not a fool. He knows how to mess with all that, and he stays on his other side of the universe, minding his own business. And there is no cooler in this timeline, so sorry fans. But there is now peace. Things are back to normal again. Frieza the Tyrant was defeated. But now there's a big question. What about Vegeta? Well, the Hero Association wanted to lock Vegeta away. And Goku explains, as he does talk to them, which is one of the rare times that he does. He tells him no. He says, let Vegeta live on here. And he says he did kind of earn it. I mean, he did help them fight these high-level threats. And not to mention, too, give him a chance. Everyone deserves a chance. I mean, look at Piccolo. Piccolo was classed as a monster, and he kind of turned his life around. And so they let Vegeta stay as long as he behaves. And to monitor him, they keep him around Capsule Corp for a time period. This is how he gets in touch with Bulma, and their romance starts, and they have Trunks. So things are peaceful for over a year. Until Goku was training outside until a young man would then arrive. Now, this young man was strange. He had a Capsule Corp jacket and purple hair and a strange sword. Who was this man? He would explain that his name is Trunks, and he explains that he's from the future, once when he was alone with Goku. Now, he wanted to test his power out. He shows off Super Saiyan, which Goku's never seen before, which kind of surprises Trunks a little bit. But Trunks would then battle Goku, who blocks the sword with just his finger, and there's no effort. Trunks was amazed, though, as he then sits and talks with Goku, explaining everything about his future and what's going on. He tells Goku that within a few years' time, androids will arrive. Dangerous. And he gives Goku the heart virus medicine as well. And it's the same story that they had when he originally talked to him, so there's no use talking over it. Trunks would then leave and explain that he'll be back within 3 years' time. So, within the next 3 years, all the Z-Fighters in the Hero Association, they all began preparing. One other thing, the monsters are rising even more. There has been a huge spike in monster population recently. More attacks, larger monsters, meaner, and Goku has always wondered what it is, but once when the 3 years have arrived, it wasn't the androids this time. No, it was something a bit worse. Well, what it was is the Monster Association was replaced with Dr. Gero in this timeline. You see, the Monster Association is here. Their plan is to take over the world. And Dr. Gero is one of the main monsters leading the entire scientific division down there. That is true. As I stated, he's not working on androids this time. He's been the one who's been creating these monsters, finding ways to make monster cells, but he also found out that there's a way that through death and considerable pain and near-death experiences can cause someone to mutate, push past their limits, and become a monster. So Dr. Gero's kind of like the evil scientist making these creatures. And he's working on his greatest creation, Monster King Orochi. A monster that is so strong that through considerable depths, he is consistently growing. Now, where did this creature get this power? Well, you see, they found it from an egg. Now, Dr. Gero was researching, traveling, as ever since the Red Ribbon Army was defeated, he had no purpose. But one day he ran across a monster that nearly took his life. He was able to dissect the monster, figuring it out. He was able to adapt his own DNA that makes him smarter, faster, more durable, and can live longer. He begins exploring the world, finding ways how he could mutate these monsters and change them, until one day he was near the open desert, rocky wasteland area. He then was hearing legends of an ancient tomb, and then he stumbles down a store right there with a large M symbol on it. It was dirty, destroyed, but he was able to find a way through. And each level that he went down, the monsters were dead. It's been centuries, maybe even longer, thousands of years. He went down each level until he made it to the very bottom. Once he made it down to the very bottom, covered in cobwebs, there was a large cocoon. This large cocoon was holding something inside, a being of extraordinary power. But then, when he turned, he sees a very old and decrepit looking creature who seemed like he was on death's door. It could barely move as it told him to leave its Majin Buu alone. Leave his creature alone. It was Babidi. Now the Babidi in this universe, they age faster. It's been thousands of years that Buu has been trapped inside of Earth. And Babidi's been guarding him this whole time, but he's been about to die. Gero would then speak to this wizard, asking, what is it? And he explains that it's his creation. A monster so strong that he can corrupt the entire universe. And his magical properties is extraordinary. And so, throughout the days, Dr. Gero would actually work with this wizard. Now, Babidi's plan was to actually try and swap minds with Dr. Gero, so he can have a younger body. But Dr. Gero was already well more adept than he was. He learned how Babidi's magic worked to a degree, to where he can move the egg and do some scientific studies. He then betrays Babidi, killing him, and then he takes the egg for himself. Now this ship was already well hidden. He begins building the Monster Association there, as it was miles deep and miles wide, full of catacombs and long hallways, as he built it himself with machines and robots, and monsters mainly built it, as he started building more and more, capturing people, turning them into monsters, some of them ranging from wolf level to even higher. They were strong. And some of them were even so strong that they were even cadres. Now these cadres are dragon level plus. They are the ones who go in there to wipe out the strongest heroes and wipe out the world for the main creature. And how did he make these strong cadres? Well, he made these strong monsters with the help of this Buu creature. And his strongest creation was his own version of Cell, Monster King Orochi. And it was due to him taking samples inside the cocoon. He makes a very, very tiny incision with the thinnest needle that he can, out of the hardest material that he's known in the universe that landed on Earth, ketchum. With this, with some magic, he was able to pierce through the cocoon. But he made a mistake in doing that. The cocoon slowly started to leak out. Slowly, a small pink mist started leaking. And this pink mist, he captures it, was magical. It was strong. But he would use it to create monsters. Make these monster cells that when eaten grants you raw power. It's an instant power up, but it has no room for growth. Compared to when you do death the natural way, the benefits can be even higher. His plan was to make Monster King Orochi, or his version of Cell, so strong that it can defeat Goku and the others. And with this, they would then take over the world. So, Dr. Gero would finally make his move, launching an all-out assault, all the monsters, the main cadres, all going after the heroes. Now Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, and some of the other high-ranking heroes, the top 10 strongest heroes in the world, they would all fight the cadres. And they're absurdly powerful. But they're able to hold their own and push back and fight. But the most dangerous one was the Orochi monster. Now, there was one creature though. One creature was lurking around. Cell. And no, the OG Cell. This version of Cell can't find no androids, unfortunately, but he sees a new opportunity that he cannot turn down. But he just needs to wait for his moment to strike. Now, once when Goku and the others have now arrived, Goku helps defeat the cadres, as Vegeta's defeating them as well with no much effort. He has Super Saiyan now, and Vegeta's stronger than ever. He's a being of light. But that is what Dr. Gero needs. And so, we would then have Trunks arrive as well, and the golden light is what Dr. Gero needs. Then, Monster King Orochi would then jump out of the ground, grabbing both Super Saiyans. As then, two of the cadres, or two of the monsters, would then stab and drain the Super Saiyan power from them, bringing them down to the pits below where Dr. Gero was. He would then inject his power into the Boo's egg. And then, the egg would hatch. But the mist would then hit the air. But then something happens. This creature is not the Majin Buu that you guys might have imagined. Oh no. Due to Dr. Gero messing with it, draining its power, messing with its cells, messing with its magic, Majin Buu is nothing more than just a living blob. It's a living flesh of blob. It has no conscience. Its only conscience is to absorb and become the perfect host, which is what Buu does. He absorbs people. This mass would then go to Monster King Orochi, who was just defeated by Goku. But guess who also falls into this mix? Cell. Cell sees this as an opportunity. Now, Dr. Gero sees the strange green bug, as Dr. Gero is then defeated by either Trunks or Vegeta, who they were given senzu beings to back to full strength. As once all the monsters are mainly defeated, the main monster then steps out. As this giant pink blob would then land, absorbing King Orochi, who was in pieces, becoming stronger, forming into something, we would then have the green bug Cell. Now, Trunks doesn't know what's going on. These are not androids. And also, Goku's not suffering the heart virus because he's built like Saitama. He doesn't have any sicknesses. As unfortunately, this giant cell monster would then fuse with this fleshy pink blob monster. As he would laugh and say, this is how he has his power. As he begins fighting the Buu creature and the Orochi creature mentally. But Cell, being Cell, was able to adapt. And he was able to overwhelm them and be in control. He begins changing, mutating, changing color and shape. He looks like a pink, fleshy, grotesque bug monster. Something out of a nightmare. But then Cell gets the hang of it as he shapes his body into his dream perfect body. His perfect form is perfect. He then turns into a version of Cell Max, but perfect. As you see on the screen here, this is what we're going to call Monster Cell, or Monster King Cell if you want. This being was absurdly powerful. With the knowledge of Cell, the power and the mystical side of Buu, and the monster strength of Orochi, mixed with Cell's skill and mental knowledge, they have a horrendous combo. As now, he challenges Goku outright, as his mission is to kill him. The fight would then get serious as the two then go at it. Now, initially, Monster Cell seemingly has the upper hand, knocking Goku around. His power was unlike anything they've ever seen before. It was shocking with how strong Cell was. But then Goku starts to adapt, as he would then begin slapping Cell left and right. As Cell was just in shock, even after mutating and growing larger in size and stronger, there's just no limit to this person's power. It's as if he's made of unfairness itself. But Cell agrees that the world is unfair. As he continues mutating, attacking him, growing stronger, Goku is just growing stronger as well. And with this, he completely outclasses this monster, punching him so hard that he launches him away. As he floats, begins to fall apart, the Buu creature dies, alongside the King Orochi dies, Cell would just lay there, almost his torso remaining, saying that he's lost. But then something happens. In the far out reaches of space, a certain god was watching. Now, what he looks like and his name will go unnamed, but he smirks, as this is interesting. Could this being be a rival to his power? What happens if he pushes him? The portal then opens as a hand reaches out and grabs Cell, giving him cosmic energy. This being of Cell was now Cosmic Cell. Cosmic Cell being so powerful, he is in an entire different league of strength. With this new power, Cell would then challenge him, as he feels like a god now. As now, he wants to push Goku to his full potential and see what Goku can truly do. And so, how would he do this? Very simple. He would then look over to Krillin, someone that Goku is very close with, or even Gohan for that matter. As Krillin could fly in trying to kick Cell, he then grabs Krillin and pierces Krillin's heart, killing him. Throwing it to Goku, as Krillin's blood rains in the sky. As Goku's face changes, one into pure rage. As Goku's eyes are almost glowing orangish red of anger, Goku begins to change. He begins to transform. As Goku theoretically can go Super Saiyan. Now, would it really matter? Because his emotions are limitless, tied to his power. Super Saiyan just makes you briefly stronger. But Goku's not going Super Saiyan. It's his normal base state, but he has his own new power. His limit is broken. Goku's power is just pure. He's like a god. Goku's eyes are different. His eyes are just red in color, glowing with hatred. As he then charges forward, he's so powerful that his eyes disappear and are now glowing white, looking like Saitama when he gets really serious. And then Cell begins to clash, and the two clash one another. It was so strong that the clash nearly destroyed the planet, leaving it in shambles. As then they begin their fight out in space. But then, with Cell being able to keep up briefly with this power, as he begins mimicking Goku. Unfortunately, Goku's power is soaring so high with emotions because of the rage that he feels. He then absolutely outclasses this version of Cell, dominating him in their matchup with little to no effort. Goku then puts his hands together as Cell does the same. He charges up his own Kamehameha. Goku charges up his own as they both fire Beam Clash within the universe so large that it was destroying everything around them. The Beam Clash would cause such an explosion as Cell was wiped out completely. The damage was severe. The solar system was ruined. Earth was going to be destroyed within a few minutes. Goku would then arrive back as they need to fix this immediately. And how are they going to do this? Well, simple. The Dragon Balls. Piccolo's still alive. Kami's still alive. The Dragon Balls are right up Capsule Corp. They arrive at Capsule Corp and they tell Shenron to fix all the damage that happened. And although it was a demanding wish, he was able to. Now they need to wait for a long period of time for them to be able to wish Krillin back, but Krillin theoretically was already wished back, so Krillin's kind of dead forever. So Krillin would enjoy his time in the other world. But things were now peaceful again. And this god being, he would then stare through a small portal as it then closed, as he was disappointed that that being that he made kind of failed, but it was entertaining to watch. As he then looks to this person, he explains, let's head to Earth and see this Goku. And that is it for part 2, you guys. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down below. I know it was really cool adding the Monster Association and kind of adding Boo in there and how Boo would be kind of mutated and different. And also adding Cell and kind of having Cell and Monster King Orochi and all them kind of fuse into one as well was really, really cool. And I guess you'll find out who this cosmic entity is in the finale. It's going to get really interesting. But anyway, thank you all for the support. I really do appreciate it. You guys are the absolute best. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.